To catch large octopuses offshore, fishermen must prepare a thorough plan and use a combination of traditional and modern techniques to ensure maximum efficiency and safety. They often set sail at dawn, when the sea surface is still covered with a thin layer of mist and the waves are gentle. Large octopus fishing boats often have cold seawater tanks to keep the octopuses alive after capture, and are equipped with positioning and terrain-finding devices for the seabed, where large octopuses often hide in crevices, coral reefs or deep holes. One of the popular methods is to use ceramic jars, plastic tubes or cage traps placed on the seabed. Each trap is usually attached to a long rope, marked with a buoy for easy tracking. Fishermen drop these traps to the seabed the day before, often choosing areas with depths of 20 to 100 meters, where the terrain is complex, with many caves, an ideal environment for octopuses to live. Octopuses are a species that likes to hide, so when they see a jar or a plastic tube, they will crawl inside and stay. The next morning, fishermen pull up the traps one by one, checking each one. If they are lucky, inside there may be a large octopus with a heavy body, strong tentacles and mottled dark brown skin, perfectly camouflaged on the seabed. In addition to the trap method, some boats also use live bait or fake bait. Octopus fishing rods are attached with special hooks, shaped like shrimp or small fish, made of hard plastic with bright colors to attract the attention of octopuses. When they detect prey, the octopus will use its tentacles to wrap tightly around it, and at that time the fishermen quickly pull the fishing rod to pull it up. Another method is diving to catch it by hand, although this method is dangerous. It is very effective if the divers are experienced. They wear specialized diving suits, carry a net bag and octopus removal tools. When a large octopus is found hiding in a rock, divers must be extremely skillful, using their bare hands or a metal stick to pull it out without being wrapped tightly. When caught, octopuses often try to escape by spraying ink and using their tentacles to cling tightly to rocks or attack their captors with strong suction, thus requiring divers to be agile and experienced. After being caught, the octopuses are brought onto the ship and processed immediately. Some are kept alive in tanks. Others are killed by hitting them on the head or quickly frozen to keep them fresh. The process of catching large octopuses always requires good coordination between crew members on board, extensive experience in choosing trap locations, as well as patience in monitoring and harvesting. Large batches of octopus not only bring high economic value but also reflect the expertise and attachment of fishermen to the vast ocean. Catching large octopuses is not simply a technical matter but also a physical, mental and weather challenge. On the rough waves in the open sea, fishermen face many dangers, from strong winds, high waves, to tangled trap lines, or risks from the octopus itself when it tries to fight back violently. There are giant octopuses weighing more than 20 kilograms, with 8 tentacles of extremely strong suction that can tightly wrap around the catcher's hand, causing injury or even being pulled underwater if not handled in time. Therefore, each person participating in the fishing must have good situation handling skills and physical condition, always ready to respond to unexpected situations. During trips lasting many days, fishing boats often anchor near reefs or deep water areas where the presence of many large octopuses has been recorded. Every day, fishermen check the traps, note the number of octopuses, and locations with high catch rates to optimize the next trap release. At night, they repair their gear, prepare new bait and traps, and monitor weather forecasts, tide levels, and currents to adjust their plans. Veteran fishermen can guess where they are likely to find octopuses just by looking at the surface of the sea. The smell of the water, and the direction of the wind. Offshore, the silence of the ocean is sometimes broken by the screeching sound of the trap rope being pulled in the air, and the cheers of joy when they pull up a fat, struggling octopus, its tentacles spraying black ink all over the deck, creating a lively and suspenseful scene. After being carefully processed, the octopuses are classified. Large, beautiful, and evenly colored ones are exported to Japan, Korea, or Europe, where live octopus is a high-class delicacy used to make sashimi, sushi, and other luxury dishes. The rest are sent to processing plants to be dried, canned, or processed into instant dishes. Octopus preservation is also an important step. The ship must have a standard cold storage. The temperature must always be maintained at a low level so that the meat does not change color or lose water. Fishermen also have to pay attention to removing the octopus's internal organs immediately after catching it. Because if left too long, the enzymes in the body can destroy the meat structure and reduce the quality of the product. Octopus not only brings high economic value but is also a cultural part of the life of coastal fishermen. For them, each trip to catch octopus is an encounter between humans and the deep ocean, where skills, experience, courage and respect for nature are clearly demonstrated. This fishing tradition has been passed down through many generations, from fathers to children, as a precious heritage that the sea bestows on those who know how to work hard and live in harmony with nature. It is these things that create the beauty and special appeal of catching large octopuses in the vast ocean. However, behind the splendor of the large octopuses are the silent hardships that not everyone understands. There were days when the whole ship drifted offshore for hours without catching any octopus, only to see empty traps being pulled up one by one. While the wind started to pick up, the waves grew bigger and bigger, causing the ship to rock and sway constantly. Sometimes the whole sky was covered with dark clouds, and torrential rain poured down on the deck, making the fishing lines and traps wet and slippery, making operations even more dangerous. In those situations, the fishermen had to tighten the ropes, brace themselves in the rain and wind so as not to retreat. Every time they pulled up a big octopus, they felt like they had just conquered themselves and the harsh power of nature. On the ship, the working atmosphere was always urgent and tense, because everyone understood that every passing minute affected the yield and quality of the catch. There were people in charge of steering the ship, people in charge of dropping and pulling the traps, people in charge of processing, cleaning and classifying the octopuses. Each step was important and required absolute coordination. In particular, when pulling up the trap and encountering a giant octopus, the entire crew must coordinate quickly. One person holds the rope. One person uses a stick to remove the tentacles. Another prepares a large net to catch it, because if the octopus escapes or falls into the sea, it is considered a total loss. Occasionally, during the fishing process, fishermen also encounter strange sea creatures such as small sharks, stonefish, stingrays or sea turtles that accidentally get into the trap, which is both interesting and makes them more vigilant. Each such sea trip usually lasts from a few days to a week, depending on the weather and the level of harvest. When returning to shore, the whole ship is filled with the characteristic fishy smell of seafood, squid, octopus, and the smell of sea salt that permeates every fiber of the shirt, hair, and sunburned, cracked hands from being soaked in seawater for a long time. However, the fishermen's eyes still shine with joy, because the fruits of their labor have finally reached the mainland. They docked in the waiting of traders, refrigerated trucks, and cheerful laughter as the heavy baskets of octopus were unloaded. Those large octopuses would then follow the trucks everywhere. From seafood wholesale markets, luxury restaurants, to large processing factories at home and abroad, many octopuses with long tentacles and large heads intact were sold at very high prices, becoming a sought-after specialty in many countries. And in each attractive dish that the diners felt, from the crunchiness to the characteristic sweet and salty taste of octopus meat, hidden behind it was a long story about the sweat, effort, intelligence, and perseverance of fishermen who faced the waves day and night to bring precious products from the ocean to humanity. For many fishermen, catching large octopuses is not only a job, but also a part of the soul of marine life, where they put all their faith, hope, and nostalgia for their homeland into each time they pull traps in the vast ocean. There are those who have followed their fathers to sea since their teens, gradually getting used to each wave, each sea breeze, the characteristic salty smell of the ocean, and the harsh pace of life where there is no concept of office hours. They know by heart each sea season, know which month the octopus thrives, which time is the golden season to catch the highest yield. Thanks to that, the large octopus fishing profession has formed long-standing fishing communities, where the predecessors pass on the profession to the younger generation, teaching their descendants how to distinguish a good reef, how to observe the water current to predict the location of octopus nests, how to handle aggressive octopuses, and how to avoid unnecessary risks. Coastal areas such as Japan, Korea, the Mediterranean, or some areas in Vietnam such as Lai Sun, Phu Yen, Siu Lao Cam, all have large fleets of octopus fishing vessels with increasingly sophisticated and diverse techniques. In some places, octopus is also raised in a semi-natural environment, released in cages near rocky reefs to grow and then caught. But for many people, catching in the wild is the real challenge of the seafaring profession. And with large, strong natural octopuses that have lived in harsh wild environments, their meat is often firm, sweet, and has higher nutritional value, so it is always favored by the market. In addition to its food value, octopus is also researched to make medicine, cosmetics, or laboratory specimens due to its specially developed nervous system, sophisticated camouflage ability, and outstanding intelligence in the world of invertebrates. Therefore, catching large octopuses is not simply exploitation, but also associated with the awareness of protecting marine resources. Many modern fleets have combined GPS systems, sonar, sensors, and underwater cameras to monitor octopus activities without much impact on the seabed ecosystem. At the same time, they also implement the principle of selective fishing, taking only mature ones, releasing young ones or those carrying eggs to maintain a stable population and sustainable development. Some regions also have strict regulations on seasons, quotas and minimum sizes for catching octopuses. Thereby helping to balance economic benefits with the protection of natural resources. From afar, the ships drift quietly in the vast ocean, the sails cutting the waves towards the rising sun, a beautiful and proud image of people facing nature day and night to bring precious products to life. And among the countless species of seafood in the deep blue ocean, the giant octopus is not only a measure of the richness of the sea, but also a symbol of the perseverance, courage and ingenuity of those who have devoted their lives to the waves, to the endless journey in the vast sky and water. Each passing sea season, stories about the giant octopus continue to be passed from person to person as a vivid part of the fisherman's life. Some people tell of encountering an octopus as big as a bamboo boat, its tentacles wrapped around the propeller, forcing the whole crew to find a way to remove it for hours in the rough sea. Others were injured because they were careless when handling an octopus they had just caught, letting it wrap around their hand and then use its hard beak like a bird's beak to peck hard at their wrist. Leaving a scar that remains to this day as a testament to their recklessness and courage. These stories, though somewhat thrilling, always reflect a clear reality: the job of catching giant octopuses is not for the faint-hearted or those who seek ease. Even without accidents or incidents, the intensity of the work itself is a long-term battle with human strength and will. Waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, working under the scorching sun, cold wind or in the middle of storms, eating hastily on the boat, sleeping fitfully to the sound of the engine and the waves, all become a normal part of their lives. However, the strange thing is that not many people quit the job, perhaps because in the midst of all that harshness, they find an irreplaceable joy, the joy of pulling the rope and feeling the weight of a struggling living creature from the bottom of the sea. The joy of seeing the ship's hold full of results after many days at sea. And the pride of bringing the freshest octopuses to the mainland as a testament to their own bravery and efforts. For some elderly fishermen, each large octopus they catch is not only income but also a memory. Each black ink stain on their clothes, each time they pull the rope until their hands bleed, each sleepless night in the sea breeze, are all deeply engraved in their memories. Creating irreplaceable slices of their lives, they tell their children and grandchildren not only to pass on their experiences, but also to instill in the next generation a love of the sea, patience, courage and respect for nature. The world is increasingly modern. Machines and technology have greatly supported octopus fishing, from determining high-density coordinates to automatic trap pulling systems that help reduce manual labor. However, the human factor, from the captain's intuition to the skill of each sailor, is always the decisive factor in the success or failure of a sea voyage. Because there are things that machines cannot replace: experience accumulated over the years, the ability to respond flexibly to unexpected weather, an understanding of animal habits and especially patience when the sea is not yet generous. Therefore, no matter the era, the profession of catching large octopuses is still a living symbol of people who accept hardship to pursue sustainable values. After leaving the ocean, large octopuses not only appear on the dining table with an attractive appearance and a unique flavor, but also carry a long story behind, the story of the sea, of sweat, of experience and the spirit of living closely between humans and nature. And that is what makes the octopus, that intelligent and mysterious eight-legged creature, a living symbol of the interaction between humans and the endless ocean. From simple meals in coastal fishing villages to luxurious restaurants in bustling cities, the image of steamed, grilled, mixed salad or sushi octopus dishes not only represents the culinary quintessence but also the crystallization of hard work in the salty ocean. Few people sitting at the dining table can imagine the arduous journey to bring those large octopuses from the deep to the surface. From the cold wet deck to the port, then go through a strict preservation process to reach diners with all their inherent freshness. Octopus meat is inherently more special than many other seafood, not only because of its characteristic toughness and crunchiness, but also because of its sweet and salty taste mixed with a slight bitter aftertaste on the tip of the tongue, just like the salty taste of a fisherman's life imprinted in every fiber of the meat. For many professional chefs, preparing large octopus requires skill, delicacy and a deep understanding of the body structure of this animal. If not cooked enough, the meat will be tough and hard like rubber. If overcooked, the meat will be mushy, losing its elasticity and inherent flavor. Therefore, good chefs always know how to soften the meat using traditional methods such as lightly pounding it with a bamboo pestle, drying it in the wind for a while before cooking, or quickly boiling it in boiling water mixed with a little vinegar to keep the perfect color and texture. Not only that, large octopus is also the main ingredient for many traditional dishes that are symbolic in many cultures. In Japan, there is takoyaki and octopus sushi. In Korea, there is sanakji